take second. Can't quite do it. to finish lap 6 of that race. Who is it that drops down the order? Ben Morby, Riley Bowen. Yeah, that is it. Riley Bowen rejoined in 17th, Ben Morby in 18th, and Ronnie Rowe in 19th, getting caught up in that as well. So 3 drivers losing out. More contact up at the right hand. It's all getting a bit aggressive with 3-1 on the exit. It surely can't end well. Somehow they get back in the correct position to the S's once again. But it's all getting a bit scrappy. There's a big wobble on the grass there for the driver in the following pack. Gets it back on the black stuff and rejoins for now. There's so much going on here in Senior Pro Karts, I can't even keep on top of it. 4 or 5 different massive battle packs, and all going wrong here over the last couple of laps for a few of our drivers. How has that now shuffled up the order? Danny Bean in 8th place now as the fastest lap of the race. Very impressive. First driver into the 49s, and by quite some margin as well. 49.873 for Danny Bean. Finds himself in 8th place. We're side by side down into the first S's. Big wobble over the curb for the 27 of Reese Bright. That was making a move on Steve Nichols. They're still as they were heading down into the right-hander. There's the 75 of Finley Marshall at the front of the following little pack with Jack Hewlin, Conor McCarthy and Bradley Rowe. Bradley trying to make his way back through after those issues earlier on. Round the outside into the S's. What an awesome move that was. Fantastic overtake there. Who did make that one stick? Following this massive group, I think it was the 171 of Jack Hewlin who made that move. So up into, well, it was, 2 more drivers off. That's the 52 onto the grass. That is Riley Bowen, who was already off a couple of laps ago. He's off again. Contact with another driver. Yellow flags down through sector number 2. And it's been chaos in the middle part of this Senior Pro Kart final. Still John Hogan leading the race, though. I always say in karting, if I don't speak about you at all in the race, you've either done incredibly well or pretty poorly. For John Hogan, it's definitely the former of those two. 1.8 seconds in the lead. Hasn't had to think about James Dreadwell, Zach Dawson, or anyone else in this field since, really, we kicked this one off. And as we went to green flag racing conditions, 2.5 minutes left to go. Battles continuing on. Still yellow flags down through this right-hander, as you can see there. A kart stuck in the barrier on the outside. They won't be going any further. And I think that must be Ben Morby. So yeah, Ben in the wars out there today. We saw him in 2 different incidents, and sadly out of the races of the 37, we'd already lost 2 Olivers, Oliver Hall and Ollie Clegg as well from this one. So 3 drivers that we've lost from the field here. In Senior Pro Karts as well. Look at that lock up heading down into the first S's. That was Tokyo Drift style from the driver at the front of this train. Well held, sir. That was beautiful from the 23. That was a Danny Bean. Danny has that fastest lap still, and we can see the commitment from Danny behind the wheel of his number 23 into every braking zone. He's got it fully sideways. But at the moment, it's a P6 for him. As we've gone to Battenburg flag conditions then. We are under Battenburg flag conditions, as that's why we've got a kart stuck on the inside of the first S's. That would be a dangerous place, even under yellows, so understandably so. Drivers getting assisted back onto the black stuff. I do think the driver's back on. Yes, he is. Barrier's just being fixed now, but we're under Battenburg conditions. So race neutralized, effectively safety car conditions, if you've not seen a Battenburg before. But honestly, biggest loser from that will be John Hogan. His gap was 1.8 seconds. That'll get reduced to 0 now as they all close up on each other. We're dropping down towards 1 minute left to go in this race. So really, best case scenario, if that barrier's fixed, which it looks to have been fixed now, is we might get 1, maybe 2 laps here. A real last lap dash to the checkered flag if we do go back to green flag racing conditions. And poor John Hogan worked throughout that race to build up that big gap. Well, it's gone to absolutely nothing now, thanks to that Battenburg flag. Let's wait and see how it plays out then. There's Finley Marshall. He must have been the driver who was off. Yes, so Finley Marshall, 75, was the driver who was off in the barrier down through the first S's. He has rejoined the action. Not sure he'll quite have enough time here to join the back of the train, but we will wait and see. He's hammering on round to try and get back to the train before we go to green flag conditions. Will we go to green flag conditions? Of course, it's +1 lap. We're dropping down towards 10 seconds to go here. I'm not seeing any potential of a green flag, but we will wait and see. Still Battenburg on the gantry outside my commentary box window. It's going back to green, ladies and gentlemen, as they cross the line at 0 seconds. It's the last lap of the race. How are we going to fight this one out? Down into the S's for the first time on the final lap. Reese Bright, it says, is in the lead of this race now. Is Reese. we continue on. Last lap of racing positions. What's happened to John Hogan then? Is that an issue with his... Oh, I haven't... nope, totally my fault. That was me looking at the wrong part of the live timing. It is John Hogan still in the lead, and he's under loads of pressure from James Stradwell. He'd worked so hard to get that 1.8 second gap, and now he's having to defend like his life depends on it. John leads us down to intersector number 2. It'll have to be a cheeky move here for James Stradwell to steal away the lead. He's right there, right pushing him down into the last couple of corners. Through the boot they go. Will it open up? It'll need to be an up and under. It will be an up and under from James Stradwell. Can he get alongside though? They head through into the final corner. He's on the outside. He'll get squeezed to the grass. He might lose second place. Across the line they go. 3 wide for second place, and Zach Dawson steals it on the line. John Hogan holds the victory. It was a great attempt there from James Stradwell, but he put himself in the firing line there on the outside. John was always going to squeeze into the grass. That's exactly what he did. And Zach Dawson said thank you very much, slipped on through. Carl Ruddock nearly did the same, but James just about keeping his nose ahead across the line and just about stays on the overall podium. My goodness. A last lap dash to the finish there in senior pro cars. It doesn't get much more exciting than that. But luckily for John Hogan anyway, he still held on to it despite late calamities. A Battenburg flag is never what you want to see when you're 1.8 seconds in the lead, but John did a great job defending. He takes home the win. Zach Dawson and Jay Stradwell joining on the podium, followed by Carl Ruddock. Then it was Mick Lord, Danny Bean, Aaron Lord, Alfie Wilkes, Reese Bright, Bradley Rowe, Connor McCarthy, John T. Beswick, Jack Hewland, Ronnie Rowe, Alfie Wiltshire, Tom Hewland, Riley Bowen, then Steve Nichols, Max Manion, then Hayden Burling, Archie Cotton, Christian Bellaby, Andrea Baharu Mastita, then Bo Harbour, Jack Dunbobbin, then Gavin Pike, Sean Deacon. Finley Marshall was the last of our finishes in that one in 28th place because, of course, sadly, we lost Ben Morby, Oliver Hall, and Ollie Clegg from that one. 28 of our 31 drivers who started the race did make it to the finish. And what a finish it was there. But it was taken by John Hogan in the end. Well done to number 73, weathering the storm there through that final lap. I thought there was going to be crazy sends and shenanigans from the drivers behind, but they all kept it nice and respectful. And just unfortunate there for James Stradwell, getting forced out wide through the final corner. Understandably so from John Hogan. Just lost him second place at the dying moments. Well, there we go then. Senior Pro Kart's done and dusted. Wow, what a race finish that was. And we've only got one more race still to come then, ladies and gentlemen. One more final here today from round 8 of the UK Kart Series here from Fulbeck. And it will be the BWRs and BWR Juniors. They're up next. first, third, fifth, and sixth, all involved in the senior class. Second, fourth, seventh, and eighth, all in the junior class. So makes it nice and exciting for us. Let's see how we go then. Green flag being dropped. We're racing for the last time here at Fulbeck. Down through, all the way through to that right-hander will go once again. And will it still be Alistair Tinker who leads us through by the end of the first lap? He holds that inside line. This is 64. He holds the lead round the outside, attempting there to see O-plate, but he gets chucked off wide. Does Brandon Edwards. Goes through the dusty stuff on the outside there. Kept it all facing the right direction though, so well done to the O-plate. He'll continue on, but drops down to the bottom end of the order. Oh, was that the 0 Brandon Edwards? Was that the 6 of Phil Waters potentially? I will double check that when we come to the end of lap number 1. There's more drivers coming in after their finals. This is the last one of the weekend, though, ladies and gentlemen, so strap in for this one. Just less than 10 minutes still left to go. Alistair Tinker with a great start to this one will lead us through onto lap number 2. He's still being chased, though, by the 23 of John Nuttall. So, no, it was the 6, I think, of Phil Waters who went off-track excursion there on the first lap. Apologies, any Brandon Edwards fans. He's still there in 4th place in that all-white kart. He's chasing William Omar, so those two in the junior class. John Nuttall in the seniors got through on William Omar on the race start. And now John Nuttall chasing Alistair Tinker. What's the pace going to be like between those two, though? It was just under half a second after the first lap of proceedings. How will that change through lap number 2? Tinker a good few tenths faster on that first lap, as I say. William Omar getting reeled in by Brandon Edwards, but can Brandon size up a move anytime soon? And now Danny Elson in 5th is looking to chase him down and get involved once again. Just over a 10th gain on that last lap then for John Nuttall. Could we have a battle on for the race victory here in the BWR senior class? Through into turn 2 we go yet again here. And down through into the second S's. Again, he did close in ever so slightly, but still just under a 4/10 gap between Tinker and Nuttall. Nowhere close enough just yet to size up any sort of manoeuvres. And you can see that squabble over 3rd place between Omar and Edwards. Danny Elson now getting involved. But they are definitely falling off the back of our top 2 still. I've got to say, these karts sound absolutely awesome outside of my commentary box window. They scream like old 90s karts to these BWRs. And they are great to listen to. They're great to watch as well as you're being treated to the action from wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining us here for round number 8 of the UK Kart Series here from Fulbeck. If you weren't able to make it to the circuit this time, that's why we bring you the action here from all the finals at the UK Kart Series. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring you all of the racing action in 2026. And that's why you should subscribe to the channel. Don't miss any of that racing action coming your way next year. Plenty of action still to come, though, here from round number 8 as this battle continues to hot up. And Danny Elson very much making it a Brandon Edwards sandwich here in the battle for 3rd place. Omar still at the front of the train, but for how much longer? You see there Brandon Edwards wanting Danny Elson to work together with him. I'm not sure if Danny will listen, though. As he continues to close in, he seems to have slightly more pace than the 2 ahead of him. And just as I say that, Phil Waters now seems to be closing in as well. He's closed in yet again on that last lap by a 1/4 of a second. Here's the battle for the lead, though. And crucially, it was a little bit more time gained yet again from John Nuttall. He's not quite able to think about a move just yet, but he's getting closer. He's getting into a position where he can make the opportunities for himself. And when will they open up for the number 23? They're properly gapping that battle for 3rd place now. It was just less than 3 seconds as they went on to lap number 4. Or lap number 5, I should say, as they come to the end of lap number 5. What's that gap going to be? Through the final corner come our 2 leaders yet again. Bit of a wobble there, to be honest, from both of them out of that corner. Trying to hold as much speed as they can through that long left-hander. Trying to keep it absolutely flat. But both having a bit of a rear-end wobble. Both holding it, though. Both continuing on through onto lap number 6. That battle for 3rd place, so getting closer than ever. Surely it's only a matter of time until one of them pulls the trigger and goes for a move. Will it be Brandon Edwards? Will it be Danny Elson? Will Phil Waters close in and decide he wants to scrap as well? We're closing in towards half race distance here in the BWRs. And half race distance of the last final of the weekend here from Fulbeck. Here it is then. Attempt there on corner exit defends, does William Omar. Brandon Edwards has a sniff at the move. He's going to get walloped, though. Down through the final couple of corners. Through the boot they go. Danny Elson tries to make the most of it, but can't. Sits back in behind once again. And there you can see the frustration from Brandon Edwards, putting his fist in the air, basically asking, why did you do that? We need to work together here to get past William Omar. William is defending. He knows there's no way they're going to be catching Alistair Tinker and John Nuttall. They are in the battle for third place. William's currently in it, so why would he want to move aside and let them all through? He's going to defend like his life depends on it. So Brandon then saying to Danny, why are you attacking me? We could both get through on William here. But of course, it's always a very different mentality when you're the one ahead in the train versus when you're the one behind. When you're the one ahead, you're thinking, why are you attacking me, mate? We could work together. When you're the one behind going, why are you trying to tell me to work together? I don't want to do that. You're still ahead of me. As here they continue to squabble down through the boot yet again. There are the two leaders. Checks over the shoulder again. There's Alistair Tinker. That gap now less than 0.2 of a second between Tinker and Nuttall. Through the S's they go yet again, then on to lap number 8 in this final. And when will the trigger be pulled here by John Nuttall? He's waited in the wings so far in this race. He's only got 4 minutes to try and pull something out of the bag here and steal away the race win from Alistair Tinker. William Omar still leading that train just in behind. Under so much pressure, though. I've got to say, fair play to Brandon Edwards at the moment. He's dealing with that pressure really well from Danny Elson behind. Elson seems to have just a little bit more pace. Can't find a way through. But Brandon Edwards is having to work on 200% brain capacity at the moment, thinking about William Omar ahead, but also Danny Elson right in behind, chomping at his rear bumper. Two leaders out of the first S's yet again. It just doesn't seem that John Nuttall can get himself quite close enough to go for it under brakes just yet. He's lost a little bit of time on that last lap, just over 1/10 of a second. It's back up to 3/10 now, the gap between Tinker and Nuttall as they head through the second S's. William Omar being lent on there by Brandon Edwards through the second S's, but again, not able to find a way through. Almost on top of his rear axle there was Brandon Edwards on William Omar, but door not able to be opened by the O-plate, and William Omar continues to hold not only third place overall in this race, but the lead in the junior class. That driver up behind him is another one in the junior class, hence why he's wanting to keep him behind. Leaders heading through onto lap number 10 then of this one. They've got a good 8-second gap now ahead of this squabble headed up by William Omar. Look at how the attention has turned, though. Danny Elson was all over the back of Brandon Edwards only a couple of moments ago, but now he's looking behind. He's looking at Phil Waters, the driver he's battling with in the senior class, and this will be over the last place on the podium in the senior class between the 212 and the number 6. Of course, Phil was shuffled onto the dusty stuff on the outside of turn 2 on lap 1. He's made his way back up to the back of this squabble very, very nicely. But again, as we've seen throughout these finals here at Fulbeck, it's very much one thing catching, a whole nother thing passing. Doesn't seem to be the easiest circuit to get overtakes done. You've got to be super, super committed. Well, I guess unless you're in junior pro cars, because that was just a ridiculous race. But anyway, and the seniors as well. BWRs, though, not quite able to make the moves as easy. It's not been as scrappy in this one as those two earlier races. And John Nuttall still waiting for the perfect opportunity, but time continuing to tick down. Time is not his friend at the moment for the 23 of John Nuttall. And opportunities dwindling. Still race win. Somehow William Omar still keeping those drivers in behind in the battle for third place. I thought he definitely would have got sent at some point now, but all the drivers are really very respectful in their racing out here at the UK Kart Series. But they'll need to find something a little bit more if they want third place by the end of this race. Just over a minute left on the clock. It's a lovely exit at the final corner. But he can't make any use of it. Has to sit in behind once more. Sadly for the leaders, it did actually go down the gap ever so slightly on the last lap. A 10th gained by John Nuttall. But it still just doesn't look like he's quite close enough, does it, on the camera shots that we're being treated to here. Time continuing to tick down. When they head under the gantry next time, it'll be on to the penultimate lap of racing action here from Fulbeck. There you can see them on this beautiful drone shot. Through the final corner they come. Onto the penultimate lap of this race. They cross the line with 24 seconds to go. But still, John Nuttall He's been knocking on the door throughout this entire race, but he can't find the right key. He cannot find his way past. And he must be getting sick looking at the rear bumper of the 64 of Alistair Tinker, but Alistair has just led this one beautifully. Just been pressing on really well. He's got the fastest lap of this race, and his consistency is fantastic. Just a little bit faster again on that last lap than John Nuttall. Extended that gap to a quarter of a second once more between the two leaders overall and the two leaders in our senior class. Juniors continuing on as well. Somehow William Omar is still ahead of Brandon Edwards. I'm not sure how. Leaders though onto the final lap then here. Alistair Tinker ahead of John Nuttall. And to be fair to Alistair, I haven't really seen him even look back that much. A few courteous looks just to double check where his rival is. There's another one of them. But never feeling under pressure, particularly as the battle in behind that one is hotting up. Serious defending from William Omar up into the right-hander, trying to keep his rivals behind. We'll keep our eyes firmly locked on this battle for the race win, though, as we continue on through this final lap of racing. Down through into the boot for the final time. It looks like Alistair Tinker will have done enough here to hold on to the race lead. I can see outside my window Brandon Edwards going crazy at the drivers behind. They're not working with him. But here comes your race leader and your race winner. Alistair Tinker sees the checker flag first and wins in BWR Senior. John Nuttall in second place. But here come the juniors. Will it be William Omar? Will it be Brandon Edwards? Out of the final quarter they come. Who do we see first? Through they go. It's William Omar. Omar sees a checker flag, wins in the juniors. Brandon Edwards having to settle for fourth place overall, second in the juniors. Then it's Danny Elson and Phil Waters, third and fourth in seniors, fifth and sixth overall, respectively. And then we just wait for our last two drivers out there on the black stuff. That'll be Leo Ralph and Max Byrne there to finish off the order of 8 drivers. A good race there to finish off the day. Sadly, John Nuttall not able to find a way through that race. Alistair Tinker holds on and takes the race win on number 64. Well, there we go then. Already, I can't believe it. Finals done and dusted here from Fulbeck. And what an afternoon of racing we were treated to here for round number 8 of the UK Kart Series. I hope you've enjoyed watching the action from wherever you are, whether you're here at the circuit at Fulbeck, somewhere else in the world. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you like the live stream if you did, and subscribe to the channel as well to keep up with all live streaming action from the UK Kart Series, not only to finish the season, but also into 2026. Well, my name is John Ratcliffe. I've thoroughly enjoyed guiding you through the action here from the UK Kart Series. Like we say, round number 8 here at Fulbeck is done and dusted, but still one more round left to come. Sheddington on the 1st and 2nd of November. We will see you there.